Here's my hangar, and this is completely unstaged. I didn't change anything, so it's as messy as it ever gets, which is quite a bit. That's a so I've got these hanging from the ceiling to get them out of the way. That's an E-Snipe, which is one of the planes that we raced. That one was one that I raced a couple of years ago. So it's been through the mill. It's been raced for a couple of seasons. And these white cracks here, this is where the fuselage is broken when I've crashed it, and I've re-glued it. And I used part of the glue I used was Gorilla Glue, which expands. And there, you know, in the front there is a big cover of glue. All right, next to it here, that orange and white one, that's an extra. It says that's an aerobatic plane. It's for pattern aerobatics. So it's fast. It goes where you fly it. It's mid-wing. It's a good model for that. Next to it here, this is a World War I. This is a French Newport, which I've had for a while. This is a balsa and covering plane. And then next to this is another E-Snipe. This is the one that I raced last season, and I'm planning to race it again next season. Our season starts here in a couple of weeks. This is mid-January as I'm doing this. When I come over here, this next row I've got a T-28. That's a foam model of a U.S. trainer that I've had that one for years, and it's a good plane. It's a good gentle flyer for a low-wing plane. Warbirds and low-wing planes are usually a little harder to fly. They're faster, snappier. That one I like to fly it. It's just fun to fly, and I fly it as a warm-up whenever I go out. This is the F4F Wildcat, which was a model of the U.S. carrier plane to start World War II. This one, the model, has fake wheels. The wheels are retracted. The wheels on this are very complex, so it's hard to make a good retract for this model. This is a belly lander, so I hand launch it and then belly land it. It's a good flyer too, a little plane. This is the Albatross, which was a German fighter in World War I, about 1916, 1917 time frame. And next to this is the Icon, which is a civilian. It's a model of a two-seater civilian plane. It's obviously a water plane for landing and taking off on water. And I take that to the lakes and fly it. Had some videos. So that's up there on top. And then over here on top of this shelf, we've got a Spitfire, which is a British plane in World War I. This one has retracts, so the wheels retract. And this is my newest plane. This is a British SE-5A, which was a British fighter in 1917-1918, fast fighter plane for World War I, and I've flown that a few times now. And then next to this is my poor old Hurricane, which is waiting for repair. I crashed it. It's in pieces, unfortunately. This was a British fighter at the beginning of World War II. This model had retracts and flaps that operated electrically. But anyway, it needs some severe repair. But one thing about foam is that you can glue it back together. It may never look as nice as it did originally, but it should fly about the same. And there's a pile of stuff. That's garbage there, but there's a pile of stuff over here. This is there's two planes over here that I'm thinking about I need to put together. This one on top is probably next on the list. It's a discus launch glider. I'm going to try that. I've never tried that. And then, of course, there's the shelf with all kinds of paints and stuff, and tapes and glues. And I've sort of been using my poor old table saw here as a workbench, which I probably shouldn't do, but oh well. Nobody's around to tell. Oh, there's one more plane. I forgot. Jeez, I got too much. That's a Visionaire, that plane there that's nose down. That is a 3D plane, so that plane will hover on its prop. And so it's a good plane for that kind of maneuver, which is a totally different kind of maneuver. It can do all kinds of wild aerobatics. And I've been trying. I crashed it a while back, and I put it back together, and it's ready to go again. So I'll be taking it out sometime in the next month or two, probably, to fly it. There's some shelves that I made, which turned out pretty good for all kinds of stuff. But anyhow, that's my hangar. and my collection of planes that I've collected over the last, what, four years or so, basically.